morning. My name is Moses Kasa and I want to take you through installing WordPress offline. I'm going to start by going to my downloads folder. I have already downloaded the programs, but I want to show you how to download them. Go to apachefriends.org/download.html, and then here you can get the 64-bit and the 32-bit version. Can be got from zampguide.com/downloads/zamp for Windows 32-bit. Then from there we go to the WordPress. We also need to download WordPress. Since we are going to be working offline, we cannot install it from the server. So the current version is WordPress 5.5.3. I have already downloaded them. So I'll go ahead and extract my WordPress so that it can create a folder. We're going to get back to this sometime. So then I install my XAMPP. I'm using a 32-bit system, so I'm going to run XAMPP on that 32-bit system. Sorry for the lag, sometimes it's a little slow. Okay. Then you go through the installation process. You click next. You look through, don't alter anything, just click next. Again, follow next. They'll show you the installation, say yes, next. Yeah, this could take about 5 to 10 minutes, but of course, because of the powerful tools of video editing, we have managed to skip through and run through so that it takes less than that. It might take about a minute. So we install XAMPP because we wanted to install a database. We also wanted to install other languages that we may need, but basically we need it for the server, the hosting part, and we also need it for Apache. We need basically those two, and we shall always start them, MySQL and Apache. So when it's done installing, we run it, and then like we said, we need Apache and MySQL, so we'll go ahead and start them. But since you're going to be developing offline, our version is v3.2.2, which is the current. I was saying, since you're going to be developing offline, we want to configure it to, when it automatically opens, that it will automatically start Apache and MySQL. You don't have to start them all the time. We also want to start our control panel minimized so that it does not get in the way on the screen. So for now, I'm going to start them manually, but every time my computer starts, every time the program starts, it's going to start them automatically. So from there, I'll go to local disk C and look out for the installation. And there we shall see a XAMPP installation. We shall see a XAMPP folder. We open it and then go straight to the htdocs folder. We open that as well. In the htdocs folder, this is where we are going to put all our websites. We create a folder for the website and we put files there, and that will be the website. So we are going to call our site test site 1, test 1. No, that name could be long. Let's say test 1. We open it and we are going to go back to the WordPress download that we downloaded, and then we copy all the contents to the test 1 folder. This is basically one way of installing. The same way we copy files to the cPanel is the same way we copy them here, because now this is our acting cPanel. So after that, we're going to head back to our browser and go to localhost / our site. To some browsers, you need to do 127.0.0.1. Then, but before we go to our site, we need to go to localhost phpMyAdmin. To some users, to some operating systems, you need to go to 127.0.0.1 / phpMyAdmin. And in phpMyAdmin is where we're going to create a database, a MySQL database that WordPress is going to be working with. So we give it time to load. Sometimes it's kind of tricky when you have internet, because it first queries the internet before it queries my local host. I think that's one of my greatest challenges with developing offline. I strongly advise that at that moment you go offline. So when we get into PHP-MyAdmin, we are going to need to create a new database. So our databases will be on the left. And here I'm going to move and click on new. So I'm going to look for new, click it. Sorry, my mouse is disturbing. And then they'll give me options for creating a menu. They'll even show me some of the databases that do exist. So I'll go to create database and I'll put my test one. This database name can be any name that you choose. So me, I'll just choose test one and proceed with that. And after test one, I'll go ahead and click create. Don't change any other thing. All other settings are set basing on what you have in your computer. Then they'll tell you that database test one has been created, and they'll ask you to create tables. You know that in databases we use tables, but we're going to leave that blank for now. And then we're going to load now our website and start the WordPress installation. So here we're going to put localhost and then /test1, the name of the site we created. You can have as several sites as you want. So now this will take us straight to the WordPress installation. We start by choosing a language we want our WordPress installation to be in. And then let's dig in. They will ask you to have these things ready: a database name, which you just created using MySQL, a database username, and here they want the administrator username, which is usually root for Windows, and a password. The password is usually blank. Then the database host is localhost, because you're hosting it locally on your computer and it knows it. To some computers, you'll need to put the address 127.0.0.1 because that's where you're hosting, though localhost would still work to some of them. Then the table prefix, because you want to install several versions of WordPress or multiple installations of WordPress, but using the same database. Sometimes it's so bulky and you just have one database that you manage. So here you go under table prefix is where you just keep changing prefixes. You just keep changing, you change the prefix, you change the prefix. You can have as many prefixes as you want. And then when all is done, you click on submit and then run the installation. These are pre-installation settings. Then when you run the installation, it could take about a short while. Then they'll ask you to write a site title. Now the site title is the actual name of the website you want. This is what people are going to be seeing every time they Google about you, after you've hosted. So you could have a name of 123, but site title is what you want people to see, like casatechug.com, EZone Web Services, EZoneschool.com, things of the sort. So here I'll just put my test site and I'll give a username. Username is now here we are working on the credentials for the people going to log in into the website. So here I'll just leave it as admin, though it's not safe to use admin. It is advisable that you use something else. Moses, John, Joel, no hacker will think about it immediately, but everyone will try to think about admin because usually it's admin. So here we start generating a password. You know, the more you mess it up, the stronger it can be. So maybe I'll try this. Oh, they're telling me it's 20, okay. What if oh, sorry. I wanted it to be 2020. Yeah. Now with WordPress, the strength of the password is on the difficulty in identifying. So even when the password is super strong, it can still determine it as weak. Then we're going to put an email. Usually it's admin@yoursite.com from the cPanel, but since we are still on localhost, I can leave it as that. I don't expect to be receiving mail, so it's just for WordPress. Also, what I didn't tell you about passwords is sometimes your password is your desired password and you don't care whether it's weak or strong. Maybe you could change it later. So I'll put a weak password so you can see. And then there's an option of confirm use of weak passwords. So when you click that, the flag for weak passwords will go away and you can install. You realize that the install WordPress is now highlighted, but I'll put my strong password just in case I forget to change it, lest I be hacked. So we install our WordPress, give it about a minute, and now this, depending on your speed, sometimes it could be slow, sometimes it would be fast enough. Yo. And then after that, boom, we're ready to log in. Some people, it will ask us to log in. Sometimes it doesn't ask you to log in. Then you put the username you created and the password you just created. If it's your computer, you can select remember me if you don't want to be prompted all the time to enter the password. So the system will keep a cached password so that you don't have to log in each and every time. And voila, we are finally logged in into our WordPress site and onto our dashboard. Thank you for being part of the crew. Thank you for listening. Have a good time.